The opposition wanted to accuse Batman of having a low bar to jump when his only criteria was not to kill anyone, when they just had to look as far as the USA in our reality to see that their own system hadn't passed that supposedly very low bar. So today, in debate, I unfortunately have less Batman quips as Sam, because I have not seen the franchise, but we will engage with how this debate has played out in terms of justice and in terms of how vigilantism will pan out. I have 3 themes of rebuttal on the best outcome, standing for a fair trial, and what the effect on crime will be in the Gotham City or maybe in a crazy reality like our own. And finally, on disenfranchised minorities and the effects vigilantes will have on that. But first of all, on the best outcome, and we've heard about this low bar that we haven't dealt with in Gotham City particularly, and not even in our reality. But we said, even if Batman wasn't particularly moral, but we think he is, we think that we'll welcome any copycats who are also vigilantes to step up and step in and be more moral than Batman. We think in a society where the government has let their citizens down in the social contract, that we would welcome people stepping up and stepping in to do this. And would also extend it to wealth and resources, and that maybe not everyone has Batman's orphaned millionaire privileges, but we would welcome them all, protecting their communities all the same. And I'll move on to that in my substantive material. Secondly, on this idea of standing for a fair trial. So they wanted to talk a lot about how we were unfairly intervening in Gotham City's really just and well-oiled machine of due process and machines. And we said that we told you repeatedly at Vivian that this social contract wasn't in existence in Gotham City. We weren't breaking something that doesn't exist. That's not how law can possibly work. So we think that we were quite happy to withhold fair trials if it meant that at least people were going to be stopped by the Batman or by any other vigilante. We had some marginal benefit that they failed to bring to you. Thirdly, on this idea of will it worsen crime. So we thought Sam's main material on this was how the police force is having its knees cut out from underneath them and how that was really bad. To this we have 2 responses. Because if you're being outdone by one man who granted has a lot of money and a sick Batmobile, it still sends a clear message to the police that you need to lift your game. That you need to step into these niche voids such as the Joker and all the other serial killers that Batman has so far had to deal with himself. So we think that if those issues had been dealt with by the police, Batman wouldn't exist. Batman would need to fulfill those roles. But secondly, it also incentivizes police to be better in that now they have to deal with the Batman as well. So they have to tell him not to hack people's phones, although maybe they wouldn't if they're in the Liberal Party. So we think in that way, police are always incentivized to improve their game where they're being challenged, where the holes and flaws in their system are continually being shone in their faces, literally with that light thing that Batman puts in the air. That's the extent of my knowledge. Okay. Moving on to my more substantive material on the stakeholder of disenfranchised minorities. So, first of all, we think a lot of people won't approach the police if they're known to be corrupt, if they're known to be ineffective, but if they're also just have a reputation for not dealing with their community in particular. So we see this in 1 in 4 African American men being incarcerated in the USA. We don't see great bonds between those communities and the police authorities that existed. Nothing Sam told you gave us any reason to believe that any of that would improve outside of Gotham City. So we think that where police are reluctant, you need a private organisation to fulfill the role. We saw this in Ghostbusters also, when the ghosts were in the buildings but the police didn't believe them, so who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. My second point under this was that in the long term, we think more and more people will be vigilantes. Once we've thrown our support around Batman and said he's alright, we think we'll have all these copycats spring up. We think that's really great. We think they're likely to be invested in the communities they spring up from. We would hope this leads to like a magical representation of vigilantes from all walks of life, defending all interests. That's what we bring you in today's debate. And if people want to stop them being vigilantes, if you want to stop these people springing up left, right and centre from every disenfranchised community, I told you in my rebuttal, and I flagged this, that police are just going to have to engage and make the issues in those communities go away, lest these vigilantes keep rising to the occasion. And we think this will lead to a reinvigoration of the police. We think they're going to be better, more in tune, more incentivized to be involved and not have Batmen and Bat people on their tails all the time. So in today's debate, we were really happy to say we gave an incentive for the police to step up, and where the police was failing, we gave people and citizens an avenue to achieve justice. We were really proud of that. Thank you.
As we said, Steph is one of our social officers. She's actually really going into second year now. That's a really good example of what a year in both can help you with. And I'd like to call on the second speaker of the negative team, Saskia, to continue the case on her side. Here you are.